Hi, my name is Steven, and I'll be giving a few reasons why the affirmative plan of action will not work, and a couple of disadvantages if the action will be taken. Their plan of action is to change with Section 1 in the 14th Amendment, which has already been stated many times. And there are three main reasons why doing this will not work, and those are that there has been past provisions or attempts to change the 14th Amendment or to change how the phrase the jurisdiction thereof, and those in the past have failed to still keep out illegal immigrants. And also, it's not directly the 14th Amendment and Section 1 that is allowing illegal immigrants over here to come over here and to give birth to an American citizen. It's the fact that the attitudes and misinterpretations of government officials and politicians in which they allow this to happen, like they don't enforce it. And so for my first claim, the Section 1 in the 14th Amendment is not at fault for all of the financial problems to the government and school crowdings and immigration. When in fact one reason that their plan of action will not work is as I stated, that in the past there has been attempts to try and change this. For example, in 1873 there was a Supreme Court ruling in which they said that the phrase "the jurisdiction thereof" does not apply to children who were born to ministers, consuls, or citizens of foreign states. And so therefore the jurisdiction thereof does not apply to them. So when in actuality they are not a citizen. What it is that they fail to meet the two requirements, that they are born on U.S. soil and that they are under the jurisdiction of. So therefore they do actually not get citizenship. And so if changing how the phrase is meant to be interpreted, even if a Supreme Court ruling couldn't change that, and still to this day that it's going on, then how will changing it now have any more effect in a Supreme Court ruling? And as mentioned before, the author of the 14th Amendment, Senator Jacob Howard, what he wrote in his side note when he wrote the 14th Amendment was, in fact, what I believe Anastasia said before, that the citizenship will not apply to persons born in the U.S. who are born of foreign or illegal aliens belonging to families of ambassadors. So even on a side note from the author himself of the 14th Amendment, it states that this should not account for illegally born citizens, and yet that hasn't had much an effect today, in which it's still happening. And for my second claim, the attitudes toward the Constitution and the ways that it's misinterpreted is the direct cause of illegal immigration, and the fact that anchor babies are able to suck so much money out of our government and put us into more debt. for example, even in a even even on a website that is against the Section 1 of the 14th Amendment, which is WordPress.com, and they within their article they state all the dilemmas with the 14th Amendment, and also what they put was, and I quote, misinterpretation of the 14th Amendment and granting automatic birthright citizenship to children of illegal aliens is the one aspect that is dismantling America. So even on their own website, they have said what is the true cause of all these problems, and that's just how the 14th Amendment is misinterpreted. So if it's misinterpreted now, then what's to say after it is changed, it will be interpreted the right way. And this is intentionally misinterpreted by politicians and government officials. And a few of the disadvantages is, like what Sammy said before, is right now all the school districts have so many students, and if they were to lose all these students, then that would directly mean that the budget for those schools will also go down. For example, Vermilion School District, they had a decrease in students of about 12% over about 12 years, and this put a big loss of budget or a big cut on their budget, and they had to fire a lot of teachers and things like that. And also for the last negative connotation is that if you were to change the 14th Amendment, then there would have to be some way of enforcing the law and basically taking the parent away from their child once they're born here. And under what is known as the EMTLA is the Emergency Medical Treatment and Emergency Medical Treatment Action of Labor Act. The hospitals are actually accounted for to treat anybody that's not a citizen or that came here illegally without any reimbursement. So even after the amendment, even if the amendment were to be changed, we would still have to pay for, that would still account for a lot of the financial loss, and that would still be there because of welfare, that certain welfare act.